Hello beautiful souls, and welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to share this incredible book with you today because I know so many of you are struggling with the same thing I was struggling with not too long ago. You know that feeling when you consume all this amazing content, you read books, you watch videos, you take courses, but then weeks later you can barely remember what you learned? Or maybe you're drowning in digital overwhelm, with notes scattered across different apps, bookmarks you never revisit, and ideas that just slip away into the void. If this sounds like you, then today's book is going to be a complete game changer. We're diving deep into Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte, and let me tell you, this isn't just another productivity book. This is a complete system for capturing, organizing, and creating with the information that flows through your life every single day. Tiago spent over a decade developing this methodology, originally out of necessity when he was dealing with his own health challenges and needed a reliable way to manage complex medical information. What started as a personal survival strategy became a revolutionary approach that's helped thousands of people transform their relationship with knowledge and creativity. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's explore how you can build your very own second brain. At its core, building a second brain is about creating what Tiago calls a personal knowledge management system. But think of it more like having a trusted external brain that never forgets anything important. The fundamental philosophy here is that your biological brain is absolutely incredible at making connections and being creative, but it's terrible at storing and organizing information reliably. That's where your second brain comes in. The system is built on what Tiago calls the code method, which stands for capture, organize, distill, and express. But before we dive into those four pillars, we need to understand the core principle that makes everything work, something called the PARA method for organization. PARA stands for projects, areas, resources, and archive, and this is how you're going to structure everything in your second brain. Projects are things with a deadline and specific outcome, like planning a vacation or launching a business. Areas are ongoing responsibilities you want to maintain, like your health, finances, or relationships. Resources are topics of ongoing interest, things you might want to reference in the future, like cooking recipes or industry trends. And archive is for inactive items from the other three categories. This simple four-folder system becomes the backbone of your entire knowledge management approach. Now let's dive deep into the code method, starting with capture. Here's what most people get wrong about capturing information: they try to capture everything, and that's a recipe for digital hoarding. Tiago teaches us to be selective and only capture what resonates with us personally. He calls this looking for information that gives you a little spark of excitement or curiosity. The key is to capture with a bias toward action. Ask yourself, could this be useful for a project I'm working on now or in the near future? Does this challenge my thinking or give me a new perspective on something I care about? When you find something worth capturing, don't just save the entire article or video, capture the specific insight or quote that caught your attention, along with your own thoughts about why it matters. This is called capturing with your future self in mind. Tiago recommends using whatever tools you already have and are comfortable with, whether that's Notion, Obsidian, Apple Notes, or even good old-fashioned paper. The magic isn't in the tool, it's in the consistent habit of capturing what matters to you. The second pillar is organize, and this is where the PARA method really shines. Instead of organizing by source or subject, like traditional filing systems, PARA organizes by actionability. Everything gets sorted based on when you'll likely need it and how actionable it is right now. Your projects folder contains everything related to things you're actively working on with deadlines. Your areas folder holds information for ongoing responsibilities that don't have an end date. Resources are for topics you're interested in but aren't actively working on right now. And archive is for everything else. Here's the brilliant part: you start with projects first. When you capture something new, ask yourself, is this directly useful for a project I'm working on right now? If yes, it goes in projects. If not, could it help with an area I'm responsible for maintaining? If yes, areas. If not, is it interesting enough to keep for potential future use? Resources. This system keeps your most actionable information right at your fingertips. The third pillar, distill, is where the real magic happens, and it's the step most people skip entirely. Distilling isn't just about summarizing, it's about progressively adding layers of insight to your captured information over time. Tiago introduces something called progressive summarization, which works like this: Layer 1 is the original content you captured. Layer 2 is where you bold the most important parts when you first save it. Layer 3 happens when you revisit the note later and highlight the most important parts of what you already bolded. Layer 4 is where you add your own summary and insights at the top of the note. And layer 5 is adding your own commentary and connections to other ideas. The beauty of this system is that you're not trying to distill everything at once. You're building understanding over time, and each layer makes the information more valuable and accessible to your future self. Think of it like aging a fine wine. The note gets better and more useful with each interaction. The final pillar is express, and this is where your second brain transforms from just a storage system into a creativity engine. The goal isn't to hoard information forever, it's to use what you've captured to create something new and valuable. Tiago calls this working with intermediate packets. An intermediate packet is any piece of work that's created as part of a larger project but has value on its own. It could be a research document, a list of ideas, a rough outline, or even just a collection of inspiring quotes. The key insight is that you don't have to wait until your project is perfect to share pieces of your thinking process. Here's where it gets really powerful. When you're working on any creative project, whether that's writing a blog post, preparing a presentation, or planning an event, you start by searching your second brain for relevant information you've already captured and distilled. Instead of starting from a blank page, you're starting with a foundation of insights and ideas you've been building over time. This dramatically reduces the time and mental energy required to create something new, because you're building on the work your past self has already done. Let me share some of the most important distinctions that make this system work. First, your second brain is not about perfect organization, it's about practical organization. Tiago emphasizes that it's better to have a system that's 80% right and actually gets used than a perfect system that's too complicated to maintain. Second, this isn't about capturing more information, it's about capturing better information. Quality beats quantity every single time. It's better to have 50 deeply distilled notes that you regularly revisit and build upon than 5,000 random captures that you never look at again. Third, your second brain should evolve with your interests and projects. As your life changes, so should your knowledge management system. What matters to you today might not matter to you in 5 years, and that's completely okay. The system is designed to grow and change with you. And here's something that might surprise you: forgetting is actually a feature, not a bug. Your second brain is designed to help you forget the details while preserving the insights. You don't need to remember everything, you just need to be able to find what you need when you need it. This frees up your biological brain to do what it does best: make connections, be creative, and solve complex problems. For daily implementation, Tiago recommends starting with what he calls the daily capture habit. Set aside just 10 to 15 minutes each day to process and organize the information you've captured. This could be first thing in the morning with your coffee or last thing at night before bed. The key is consistency, not perfection. He also suggests doing a weekly review where you look at what you've captured during the week and apply the progressive summarization process to the most important items. This is where you add those bold highlights and start building deeper insights. Think of it as a weekly investment in your future self. And here's a practical tip that can transform how you approach learning. Whenever you're consuming content, whether you're reading a book, watching a video, or attending a meeting, ask yourself this simple question: how can I use this? This shifts your brain from passive consumption to active engagement, and you'll naturally start capturing more valuable insights. Alright, my friend, let's wrap this up with the key takeaways that can completely transform how you learn and create. First, your brain is for having ideas, not storing them. Build a reliable external system so your mind can focus on what it does best. Second, organize for actionability, not by topic. The PARA method keeps your most important information easily accessible when you need it most. Third, distill progressively over time. Don't try to summarize everything perfectly on the first pass, build understanding through repeated engagement. Fourth, create intermediate packets as you work. Share your thinking process, not just your final results. And fifth, remember that done is better than perfect. Start with simple tools and basic habits, then evolve your system as you grow. Building a second brain isn't just about getting organized, it's about amplifying your natural creativity and intelligence. It's about creating a partnership between your biological brain and your digital tools that makes you more capable, more creative, and ultimately more fulfilled in your work and life. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear about your own knowledge management struggles and successes in the comments below. What's one insight from today that you're excited to implement? And if you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into books that can transform your life. Until next time, beautiful souls, keep learning, keep growing, and remember that your second brain is waiting to help you unlock your full creative potential. Take care, my friend.